Running a Fever, episode 426, Hot Flashes and Cold Truth, part 1, What No One Told You About Menopause. Welcome back to Running a Fever, the podcast where we chase vitality, clarity, and strength, no matter the season of life. Today, we're starting a new series that dives into a topic that's often whispered about, misunderstood, or just plain ignored: menopause. Whether you're going through it, know someone who is, or think it's decades away, this conversation is for you. Because menopause isn't just a medical milestone, it's a transformation, a reckoning, a rebirth. In this series, we'll explore the emotional and mental terrain of menopause, the physical shifts that challenge even the most seasoned athletes, and yes, we'll talk about male menopause too. You'll hear stories from real people, insights from experts, and strategies for thriving through the change. So lace up. This isn't just about hormones. It's about power, identity, and the endurance to keep running through every chapter of life. Let's get into it. Here's what's coming in this series. Part 1. That's this episode. We're going to define menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, and andropause, or male menopause. We'll bust some common myths. For example, it's just hot flashes, or men don't go through it. We'll share why this topic matters, especially for runners, athletes, and anyone pursuing wellness. Part 2, the emotional terrain, mood swings, brain fog, and identity shifts. In this episode, we'll explore how hormonal changes affect serotonin, GABA, and brain chemistry. There will be a discussion of anxiety, depression, irritability, and memory lapses. Included will be some personal stories of women navigating these changes. And I won't let you go without talking about some coping strategies, including cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, mindfulness, journaling, creative outlets, and of course, exercise. Part 3, male menopause, the silent transition. Our aim here is to define andropause and its symptoms: fatigue, depression, reduced libido, and muscle loss. Expect some personal stories and medical expert opinions on the subject, and there will also be an exploration of the societal silence around male hormonal shifts. And we'll look at solutions: testosterone therapy, lifestyle changes, and emotional support. Part 4 will be running through the change: fitness, fatigue, and recovery. Look for us to discuss how menopause affects endurance, recovery, and metabolism. We'll give out some tips for adapting your training routines, offer some nutrition and hydration strategies for midlife athletes, and we'll hear from coaches and athletes who have adapted their regimen. Part 5, relationships and intimacy, navigating change together. This will be about how menopause impacts romantic and family relationships. Look for some communication tips for couples. We'll include perspectives from both men and women and talk a little bit about intimacy, libido changes, and emotional connection, and how menopause impacts all of this. Finally, Part 6, reclaiming power, menopause as a new beginning. Here we're going to flip the narrative and talk about menopause as a rebirth instead of a decline. There will be highlight stories of women and men who found new purpose post-menopause, and discussion about creativity, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. We'll end with a call to action: embrace the change and run with it. Okay, there's the rundown of the series. Now, first, I want to share what some real people have to say about the change. Nobody else tells you about all this stuff you go through. Some days you're hot, some days you're cold. People in my family hate it when I have to keep changing the temperature. My mother and her sisters, they never discussed menopause. We just know they went through a change. People think your sex life is over, which is not true. Your partner, your significant other, if he really loves you, he can be patient. You have to figure out what works for you guys. That's from Courtney from South Carolina. I'm trying to manage it as best I can. I'm okay with it, knowing that it won't be here forever. I started experiencing anxiety and a little bit of depression. There are days that the littlest There are days that the littlest thing can set me off and make me irritable or crabby. My primary doctor didn't mention that to me. That's from Melissa from New Jersey. The emotional stuff started. Every 7 to 10 days, I would have a crying jag that I couldn't explain. I didn't feel sad, but I cried for the whole day and couldn't control it. And then all of a sudden, that just kind of went away, and I haven't had that again. That's Darlene from Tennessee. Okay, now what is this menopause thing? And you probably never heard of perimenopause, postmenopause, or andropause. What are they? Hang on, here we go. Menopause is the natural biological transition marking the end of a woman's reproductive years. It's officially diagnosed after 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period, typically occurring between ages 45 and 55. But menopause isn't just a moment, it's a process. It unfolds in 3 stages: perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. Stage 1, perimenopause. This is the lead-up phase, often lasting years, where hormone levels fluctuate and symptoms begin, like irregular periods, hot flashes, mood shifts, and sleep disturbances. There are 3 substages in perimenopause. In the late reproductive stage, you still have regular periods, but you might notice them starting a few days early or late. In early perimenopause, periods become more noticeably irregular, with cycle lengths varying by a week or more. Hormonal fluctuations begin to cause symptoms like mood changes or worsening PMS. In late perimenopause, menopause is likely 1 to 3 years away. You'll experience more frequent period skips, and your cycles may be 60 or more days apart. Hormonal changes become more consistent, leading to more pronounced symptoms like hot flashes, sleep disruptions, and other physical and emotional changes. Perimenopause typically starts in a person's 40s, though it can begin in their 30s or at a later time. This stage can last several years. The timing is often influenced by genetics, with a family history of early perimenopause potentially indicating an earlier onset for oneself. If you experience any of these things, you should definitely not try to diagnose yourself, but see your healthcare provider. It's important to rule out other possible causes of the symptoms. The doctor will do a differential diagnosis to ensure your symptoms are not caused by another underlying condition, such as a thyroid disorder or polycystic ovary syndrome or PCOS. Certain cancers may also present like this. Stage 2, menopause. This is the point in time when menstruation has ceased for a full year. This signals the end of perimenopause and the beginning of menopause proper. Stage 3, postmenopause. Postmenopause is simply the time after periods have stopped for a full year. It lasts the rest of your life. In the years that follow, symptoms may ease, but health risks, like bone loss or heart disease, can increase due to lower estrogen levels. Uncomfortable symptoms of menopause, like hot flashes and night sweats, may become milder or go away completely. There is an increased risk of osteoporosis because the body doesn't produce as much estrogen, which is essential for maintaining strong and healthy bones. There is no exact age when this happens, of course. Once menstruation has stopped for more than a year, you're in postmenopause. On average, this happens around age 52. Andropause, sometimes called male menopause, refers to the gradual decline in testosterone that can affect mood, energy, and physical health in men. There's a good article I'll link to in the references section of the blog post at runningfever.com/426 called Male Menopause, Myth or Reality? The article seems to discourage referring to the age-related decrease in testosterone in this way. They also call it late-onset hypogonadism. And sometimes there are no symptoms? We'll have a lot more on that in part 3 of the series. Now, it's important to note that hormonal changes differ between men and women. One difference is that in women, the change is more acute and dramatic. In men, the drop in hormone levels happens slowly. Menopause is not a disease. It's a powerful transformation, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. It's the body's way of saying, you've done the work of creation, now it's time to evolve. One myth we'll bust today. Menopause is just hot flashes. Nope. It's a full body, full mind recalibration. The Mayo Clinic, one of my favorite sources for health information, emphasizes that menopause is a natural part of aging, not a disease, but one that can bring significant physical and emotional changes. As the Mayo Clinic puts it, menopause is a normal part of a woman's life and doesn't always need to be treated. However, menopausal symptoms can be disruptive. Some of the common symptoms are hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, sleep disturbances, mood swings, brain fog or difficulty concentrating or remembering things, and decreased libido. Keep in mind that not everyone experiences all symptoms, and severity varies widely. There's also a link to a great Q&A at the Mayo Clinic site. You'll find that link and all the other references I'm using here in the blog post at runningfever.com/426. We mentioned hot flashes. What are they exactly? A hot flash is a sudden, intense feeling of heat that spreads throughout your upper body, most often the face, neck, and chest. It's one of the most common and disruptive symptoms of menopause. It feels like a wave of warmth or burning sensation, often starting in the chest or face. The skin may flush or turn red and blotchy. Profuse sweating may occur, especially on the upper body. During a hot flash, a rapid heartbeat or palpitations may be experienced. Then chills or a cold sweat as the body cools down. Hot flashes can last 1 to 5 minutes, but frequency and intensity vary widely. Hot flashes are triggered by changing hormone levels, especially the drop in estrogen during menopause. This affects the hypothalamus, the part of your brain that regulates body temperature. When it misfires, your body thinks it's overheating and reacts by trying to cool down fast. When hot flashes happen during sleep, they're called night sweats. This can disrupt sleep and contribute to fatigue, anxiety, and mood swings. But heating up isn't the only reason you may lose sleep during menopause. A lot of stuff may be going on. You may be caring for aging parents, supporting children as they move into adulthood, taking on more responsibilities at work, and reflecting on your own life journey. Add symptoms of menopause on top of this, and it's no wonder you have trouble sleeping. Managing hot flashes and depression can also help with your sleep regularity. I can testify personally that not getting enough sleep affects one's entire life, with lack of energy and difficulty focusing top among the effects. Taking melatonin has been recommended, though it never really did anything for me. Taking prescription sleeping medication can help, but it is not recommended in the long run. I'm not a doctor, but my best prescription is daily exercise. Some other things you can do are follow a regular sleep schedule, avoid napping in the late afternoon or evening, develop a bedtime routine. Some people read a book, listen to soothing music, or soak in a warm bath. Try not to watch television or use your computer or mobile device in the bedroom. And I'll just tell you, this particular tip is so important, I'm going to do a whole series on how screen time affects your health. Look for that in a few months. Keep your bedroom at a comfortable temperature and as quiet as possible. Avoid eating large meals close to bedtime. Stay away from caffeine. And remember, alcohol may be a depressant, but it will not help you sleep. Even small amounts make it harder to stay asleep. We'll talk more about mood swings and brain fog in the next episode, and we'll talk about libido near the end of the series. Just keep those in mind as symptoms to look for. I want to say a little bit about why I'm doing this and why it matters. I want to acknowledge the silence and stigma around menopause. I want to have a conversation, not a lecture. That's why I put out a short calling for input from you. I think the conversation is long overdue, and I don't think we should be afraid to talk about something that literally happens to everyone at some point. This isn't just a woman's issue, it's a human issue, and it's time we talked about it like we mean it. So, I gave you a little summary of what to expect in the upcoming episodes. We'll get into some detail on the emotional shifts, the fitness and body changes, relationship impacts, and male menopause, aka andropause. I want to bring in some outside views to get a more rounded perspective on the issue. We'll talk about everything from hot flashes to identity shifts, from hormone therapy to how men experience their own version of the change. It may be too late at this point, now that you're hearing this or watching it, for you to contribute to this particular series of episodes, but I encourage you to share your own experience and thoughts anyway. Comment on this episode, make your own video, and throw it out there on the social media outlet of your choice. Coming up next episode, the emotional terrain, where hormones meet identity. It's raw, it's real, it's something we need to talk about. Hey, menopause isn't the end of the road. It's a trailhead, and we're running it together. Remember, if you got the fever, keep it burning. And if you don't, catch the fever. And I'll see you next time on Running a Fever.